So we've just covered the upper body. Now we're going to have a look at the lower body. And this is really important. We're going to be looking at various sections here, so from a couple of different angles. So first thing is going to be, from a front view where we're looking here, how should that lower body sit at a dress? Now, you've got foot flare, so the amount that the feet are square or turned inwards. Ideally, you'd like them a little bit flared in each foot, but this will then be dictated to by your range of motion within your pelvis. So if you're not great at turning, you'll create more foot flare. This is really, really easy to just go and work at yourself. I've done a video on this in the past where you have a club against yourself to see here how much range you can get, and it's a really good way to test what the foot flare does. Now, going on in a lot more detail from this now is, how do you create the balance point? So what we actually want to do is create enough space between the knees. I see so many people with the knees inwards like this. I don't mean as in as I am here, but they bring them in a little bit. It collapses the arches inwards, pulls the upper body forwards, and encourages them to lose height in the backswing. When I get a video of somebody and they first come in, I draw a line down from the outside of each shoulder here. And what I'm looking for is, from the outside of each shoulder, a vertical line down goes through the centre of the laces on a 7-iron. I'm looking for space between the knees and for the knees to be sat directly underneath the pelvis. Now, the reason for this is it means that you're creating enough tension in the legs, loading the glutes, but it means it's really easy to create a lot of stability in the lower half. Now, a good friend of mine, Mark Bull, came up with this concept of describing the feet as tripods. Big toe, little toe, heel being in contact with the floor. A lot of this posture stuff comes back down to Bully. I would recommend going over, have a look on YouTube if there's any videos of him, but go over to his website and some great information. But on the feet themselves, thinking about them as tripods, big toe, little toe, heel, we want to keep each one or each part of that foot engaged in the floor. What it means is, if you're somebody who collapses the left knee and loses height in the backswing this way or tilts the upper body, 9 out of 10 times, the left toe on the left foot, the little toe on the left foot, has vacated the earth and made you collapse. That needs to stay engaged in the floor. The other one we see is, if you sway a lot, you'll have lost the big toe joint in the right foot, and the knee will have gone over the outside of the foot. So what you're trying to do is keep each contact point with the ground, maintain your height, keep that space in the knees, because this creates loads and loads of stability. It's all about stability. Great way to practice this is at home in just your socks or bare feet, because you'll have great feeling through the floor, through that big toe, little toe, heel. Do hit a ball down there, and we'll have a look at the other area from the posture, from lower body, from down the line here, and explain to you how that links into your balance points, which really will help you create a much more consistent action. So fire it down and come down with me, and we'll have a little look at the rest of the posture. Following on from the front view here, we're having a look at the posture from down the line here. Now, the big bit that I see as being the most important is this balance point line. So a vertical line down from the back of the armpit, the front of the knee, and into the first or second lace on your shoes. This balance point here is what allows you to make absolutely phenomenal rotation with fantastic balance. So combining the fact that the feet are engaged in the ground, big toe, little toe, heel stays on the floor, still load the pelvis. You know, if you've got a bit of mobility issues, let's say, not loading that right heel enough or the right hip, you can let the left heel come off the ground in the swing, but it comes up this way, so the little toe and the big toe are still engaged. It doesn't want to collapse like that, because that's really going to be very inefficient and create a lot of other issues later on. So back to the balance points here. When we're looking at the balance points and we've got you in the posture, from there, The only other thing that we're going to look at is the angle of the pelvis. I want to make sure that the angle of the pelvis is at 90 degrees to the spine, and then to find the perfect angle for your pelvis, what you do is, feel like from finding the front of your pelvis, or the bones here, you push them back and down, and feel like you're almost pushing back up with your legs into it. So you're sort of pushing your legs up and into the pelvis whilst you're pushing back at the same time. This really engages the glutes and gets you in a very, very strong posture. Got enough space here to then be able to fully load and get that angle in the pelvis. So we'll clip this up onto the green, and then ask you to then come with us into the next video, and we'll have a look at ball position and how we then piece all these sections together from the previous video and this one that really should help you have much better control of the ball and get into fundamentally much sounder positions.